Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at a huge name in cricket, Babar Azam.
Absolutely. A player lots of people know or think they know.
Exactly. We know about his skills, the runs, but we want to dig a bit deeper, look at his journey, and especially the intense pressure he faces.
Right. Being a top star in Pakistan, cricket is just massive there.
We've got some material here that really lays out his achievements, but also, crucially, the criticisms and the debates around him.
Yeah, it's quite the contrast sometimes.
So our mission today, if you like, is to really get to the heart of Babar's impact, his contributions, and importantly, the context behind all that noise surrounding him.
It's a fascinating case study, isn't it? I mean, here's someone incredibly talented, loads of success.
Undeniably.
Yet he seems to be constantly dealing with these huge expectations and, well, a lot of criticism too. We'll look at the hard evidence, the stats, but also try to understand why there's so much talk about his style, his captaincy.
Okay, sounds good. So let's lay the groundwork. Where did it all start?
Well, he was born in Lahore, October 15th, 1994.
Right, Lahore, a cricket hub.
And like many top players, he came up through the domestic system in Pakistan. Grinding it out there first.
That grounding seems so important, doesn't it? Those early years shaping the player.
Oh, absolutely vital. That's where you hone the skills, build that mental toughness you need for the international stage.
And his rise was pretty steady.
Yeah, consistent performances really marked his journey through the ranks. And that led to his big break, his international debut in 2015. That's when things really took off globally for him.
And what a launch it was. Let's talk numbers for a second because, wow, they do paint a picture across the formats.
They really do.
ODIs, for instance. You're looking at, over 5,800 runs?
Yeah.
In just over 120 matches?
Which is phenomenal. And that average.
Yeah, above 55. That's genuinely elite in one-day cricket. Plus 19 centuries.
19. And he got there quick. Fastest Pakistani to 1,000 ODI runs, wasn't he? By innings played.
Yeah, shows he made an impact almost immediately.
That kind of consistency at the top, for Pakistan's ODI side, it's been such a stabilizing factor. Historically, they haven't always had that guaranteed run scorer.
Good point. And then T20 internationals.
Another strong showing. Over 4,100 runs, again, 120-plus matches. Strike rate, around 130.
Which we'll probably come back to, the strike rate discussion.
Oh, I'm sure we will. But interesting, like ODIs, he was also, for a time, the fastest ever to 2,000 T20I runs. So adaptability right there.
And tests. Can't forget the long format.
Definitely not. Nearly 4,000 runs in just over 50 matches. 9 centuries there, too.
It really does show his versatility. He's not just a white ball specialist, is he? He clearly has the technique, the temperament for Test cricket, too.
That's the key takeaway for me. The sheer volume, yes, but the quality across all three formats. It's not just piling up runs. It's the high averages, converting starts into big scores time and again.
And the rankings reflect that, don't they? He's been #1.
Right. ICC #1 in both ODIs and T20Is at various points. And holding that ODI top spot for, over 1,000 days straight.
Yeah, until 2023. That's just dominance, really. Puts him right up there with the best in the world, no question.
Unequivocally.
And it's not just the stats, is it? There's the way he bats. Everyone talks about that cover drive.
Oh, yeah. It's like his signature shot.
Yeah.
Almost textbook, but better.
And his ability to just read the game, pace an innings. He seems able to adapt to whatever the situation needs.
Exactly. That's the mark of a truly world-class player, isn't it? Being able to shift gears, play the anchor, then accelerate when needed.
It suggests a really deep understanding of the game. And a lot of hard work, presumably.
Oh, for sure. Dedication, understanding the nuances. It makes you wonder, what allows that sustained excellence?
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit ourselves. From Babar the batsman to Babar the captain, he led the side from 2019 to 2023.
A pretty significant period. High expectations, of course.
And some definite highs. Leading Pakistan to the T20 World Cup final in 2022, that's a major achievement.
Huge. Getting to a World Cup final, navigating that pressure, that's big for any captain. Shows leadership.
And didn't they also have that ODI series win in South Africa in 2021?
You did, yeah. A historic win, actually. Winning away, especially against a strong side like South Africa, that says a lot about the team under his leadership.
And personally, during that time, he was racking up awards, too. First Pakistani to win the ICC Men's ODI Player of the Year.
And he won it twice, 2021 and 2022.
Wow. That's incredible recognition, especially while juggling captaincy duties.
It really is. Maintaining your own peak form while leading the side is, it's a massive challenge.
And there were those standout individual performances during his captaincy, too. That amazing 196 against Australia comes to mind.
Oh, that test innings in 2022. Chasing a huge target, that was something special. And other centuries in really tight chases, too. These weren't just runs, they were match-defining innings.
So, beyond the international stage, what about domestic and franchise cricket? The PSL, for example.
Yeah, he's been dominant there, too.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, right? Shows that consistency translates.
How dominant.
He's the PSL's all-time leading run scorer, over 2,500 runs. That tells you he delivers consistently in that league as well.
And he captained Karachi Kings.
Yep, led them to the PSL title back in 2020. So leadership success in the franchise world, too.
Okay. So we've built this picture. Amazing stats, versatility, leadership highs, domestic dominance, which makes the intensity of the criticism he faces almost, well, surprising.
It does seem disproportionate at times, doesn't it?
Our source material points to three main areas of scrutiny. First, that T20 strike rate.
Yes, the perennial debate, around 130. Critics say it's too slow for modern T20.
What's the counter-argument there?
Well, the thing is, you have to look at his role, right? Often, he's been the anchor, the guy providing stability in what can be a, let's say, volatile Pakistani batting lineup.
Right, setting a platform for the hitters later on, like Rizwan or maybe Iftikhar.
Exactly. It's about the team balance. You can't just look at one guy's strike rate in isolation. And, I mean, he can accelerate.
Like that innings against South Africa, 122 off 59 balls.
Precisely. Or the 110 not out of 66 against England. Those show he has the gears when the situation demands it.
So comparing him to, say, Andre Russell is maybe missing the point of his role.
Completely different roles, different team dynamics. It's about context.
Okay. Second point of criticism. The lack of major ICC trophies under his captaincy. The 2022 T20 final loss gets brought up a lot.
Yeah, and look, not winning is always disappointing.
Yeah.
But cricket's a team game, fundamentally.
Sure.
Pinning a final loss, or the lack of a trophy, solely on the captain, it overlooks the collective effort or lack thereof in those crunch moments. Plus, reaching a final is still a huge achievement in itself.
Especially given Pakistan's tournament history sometimes.
Right. And let's not forget, under him, they also reached the semifinal in the 2021 T20 World Cup.
Okay.
And the Asia Cup final in 2022. So it's not like they were consistently failing. They were competitive.
So calling it a trophy drought purely down to him might be an oversimplification.
I think so. It ignores the team aspect, the fine margins in knockout cricket. It's complex.
Right. And the third criticism often leveled is this flat track bully idea, that he doesn't perform in high-pressure games.
Yeah, you hear that one.
Yeah.
But again, does the evidence fully support it?
Well, the source mentions he was the highest run scorer in the entire 2021 T20 World Cup, 303 runs.
Exactly. That hardly sounds like someone crumbling on the big stage. And we already mentioned those centuries in tough chases.
Okay. Maybe he's had some quieter knockout games sometimes.
Sure. But which great player hasn't? That happens in sport. It's unpredictable. But then you look at that crucial 68 not out against New Zealand in the 2022 T20 semifinal.
Yeah. That got them into the final.
Absolutely vital innings under huge pressure. Guided the chase perfectly. Sometimes those contributions get forgotten when the final doesn't go your way.
It does make you ask why the focus on the negatives sometimes, which leads us to the bigger picture stuff.
Yeah, the context surrounding all this.
The source highlights these, maybe, unrealistic expectations. He's Pakistan's biggest sports star. Everything is magnified.
Immensely. Cricket is just so central to the culture there. Millions of fans hang on every ball, every result. So failures get amplified. Successes sometimes feel fleeting.
And social media just pours fuel on that fire, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Knee-jerk reactions, instant analysis, often without much nuance. The source mentioned the trolling after the 2024 T20 World Cup exit.
Even though he was their top scorer in that tournament.
Exactly. It shows how emotional the response can be, how quickly things can turn online.
It's interesting, the source compares the scrutiny to what Virat Kohli faced in India during trophy droughts.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Kohli faced pressure, no doubt, but perhaps maybe there was a bit more patience sometimes. Or maybe the perception of the team structure around him was different.
Which links to another point, the structural challenges within Pakistan cricket itself.
Right. Frequent changes in selections, coaches, board politics. That instability has to have an impact on team performance, doesn't it? Regardless of who the captain is.
Yeah, it's hard to build consistency like that. So, despite all this swirling around him, Babar's career is still fundamentally a story of incredible talent and, well, grit, resilience.
Totally agree. And he's only 30, still very much in his prime years as a batsman. Record is still to be broken, you'd imagine.
And that decision to step down as captain in 2023.
Stepping away from that role, maybe to focus purely on his batting. You could see that as quite mature, strategic even. Prioritizing his main strength for the team's benefit.
Maybe taking some of that intense captaincy pressure off himself, too.
Could be. It just reinforces the need to actually appreciate his contributions, doesn't it? He's inspired so many people in Pakistan.
Definitely. In a way, his continued performance, the sheer weight of runs, is probably the best answer to the critics.
That's a pretty compelling response, yeah. Just keep scoring runs at an elite level despite all the noise. It's remarkable, really.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this deep dive up. Key takeaways. We've seen Babar Azam has massive achievements across all formats, real leadership moments too, dominant domestically.
Yep. But he's also faced intense, sometimes maybe disproportionate criticism about that T20 strike rate, the lack of team trophies as captain, and how he performs under pressure.
And it's crucial, as you said, to remember this is a team sport. Context matters. External factors matter. Team dynamics, admin issues, national expectations.
Exactly. It's never just about one player.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe something for our listeners to mull over. How much does that deep national passion for a sport, those huge societal expectations, actually shape the story we tell about athletes like Babar?
Good question.
Where's the line between fair critique and just overwhelming pressure? It's a tricky balance.
It certainly is. And Babar Azam's career is a prime example of navigating that tightrope.
Well, that's all we have time for on this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.